I support Joe Schember for mayor because he has the vision, the temperament, and the experience to be Erie's best mayor yet. He knows what it will take to move our community forward, and he will build the coalitions necessary to implement Erie's comprehensive plan. But what impresses me most about Joe is that his ability to draw everyone into the conversation. He listens carefully to what people have to say, and he takes their comments into consideration before he makes a decision. And he has no agenda, other than doing what is best for our city and our region. He is the kind of leader we need at this point in Erie's history. Erie needs Joe. Our first speaker is Mr. Jim Dottle. Jim was president and CEO of Times Publishing Company. Shortly after he retired from the paper, he became president and CEO of the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership. He retired from that position in 2011. Jim remains active in the community, volunteering for the Barber National Institute, and is the chair of the Erie Arts and Culture and the Erie Regional Library Boards. Please welcome Jim Dottle.
Well, you'll know in a couple of minutes that I'm just a warm-up act for two rock stars here, Mel Witherspoon and Joe Schember. But I'm here today because Joe Schember is the kind of person we should all aspire to be. There are 3 C words that I believe describe Joe in his private sector career, his public office service, and in his life of volunteering. And those 3 C's are that Joe is committed, Joe is collaborative, and Joe is compassionate. In his private sector life first, for 4 decades, Joe displayed a resolute commitment to the PNC Bank customers. When Joe was heading up all of the PNC Bank branches, he was the leader of hundreds of PNC co-workers. He helped build customer relationships that led to results. When Joe moved to the wealth management side of things, he forged many collaborative relationships with high-wealth clients and prospects. Joe Schember understands what makes our economy tick. Then in his public sector life, Joe spent more than 5 years on Erie City Council, again with energy and that commitment to doing what needed to be done. Joe was Finance Committee Chair of the City Council for 5 years. I happened to be the CEO of the Chamber at that time. The business community was greatly concerned about the city's financial issues and the impact on our local economy. Joe did not duck the issue. He arranged an in-person conversation for me and my chamber board chairman with himself and the city's finance director to help us understand from the business community what the city faced and what the city was doing about it. Joe understands the need to be for collaboration at every level with all constituents, and has always displayed that willingness to collaborate for the greater good. In his volunteer life, Joe has touched both individuals and larger groups with his compassionate approach to helping others. 2 examples of Joe's commitment to volunteerism and his amazing compassion for those in need stand out for me. The Getting Ahead program helps low-income families and individuals from dependency to self-sufficiency through education, self-assessment, and a mentoring experience. together in GCAP launched Getting Ahead. It's a huge time commitment over the better part of a year for someone to be a mentor to someone else who's in need. Joe has now been a mentor 5 times for Getting Ahead at the Erie City Mission, compassionately helping people believe in themselves and to see opportunities for a better life. And Joe and Rhonda Schember, for the past 28 years, talk about commitment, have disguised themselves as Santa and Mrs. Claus to have Barber National Institute students enjoy sitting on Santa's lap. Seeing any of the photos of those children simply melts your heart. Because of his diversity of leadership roles in solving challenges in his banking career, his city council tenure, and his volunteer efforts, Joe understands the need for our next mayor to be an energetic and strong leader at this critical juncture in Erie's history. Joe will always be compassionate. Joe will always be collaborative. And Joe will always remain committed to Erie's future success. Indeed, Joe Schember is the kind of person we should all aspire to be. Thanks. And now it's my distinct pleasure and honor to be able to bring the next person to the podium, and that is Mel Witherspoon, a city councilman now from 2011 to the president, and prior to that from 1996 to 2002. Mel worked as regional representative for Penelec in this area for 20 years. After he retired, he became the Northwest Regional Representative for the State Auditor General. Mel also started Spoon's Basketball League for Erie youth. This year, 250 youth participated. And on January 28th, Mel Witherspoon will be inducted into Gannon's Athletic Hall of Fame. Join me in welcoming a real Hall of Famer, Mel Witherspoon.
Come on, this is not a wait. It's can't be a wait for me to say something. You know who I am, and I support Joe Schember. See, the mayor is doing his job already. Thank you, Mayor. The signs will tell you there's a new sheriff in town. There's a new sheriff in town. Joe Schember, a friend who I met when he became a councilman. When he became a councilman, I said, thank you, Lord. We have someone with some financial background to help counsel. And there he was, Joe, slim, meek, quiet, until he banged the table one day in councilman in the caucus meeting. I just sat there. I got spurred. But that wasn't him. So we listened, and he began to roll out terminologies and numbers that I had in business statistics, which I got to see in. Joe is a quiet type guy, but he gets the job done. This is one of the reasons I'm supporting Joe. It was mentioned that, yeah, come on with it. Come on with it. We ain't gonna get on TV too often. So let it roll right now. Because we're here because we love Joe. We depend on Joe to do his job. He's gonna do the job. He's gonna be our next mayor. He's confident within himself. We have confidence in him. We have to spread that word about Joe or who he is. He serves on a board with Bishop Brock at the Eagle's Nest, who who works and get kids jobs and Hammett. I mean, he doesn't sit at home. He is busy in the community. I depend on him for so many things. I even call him now once in a while on some councilmatic issues dealing with finance. And he's always there for you. Joe is the next sheriff in town. Joe is the next sheriff in town. I don't know if I can convince him or not for me to be one of his deputies, but right now I'm volunteering. I need to show him my commitment to his cause. Joe is the man. We have to believe in him. We have to believe in him. And let me divert a little bit, because we're all friends of Joe. 99.9% of us, and that 1% is here to see what we're talking about. Well, I need to say that I'm on vacation. I took 2 hours vacation to be here, just in case you want to call the state auditor general and tell him that mail is here on your time. Right, so I got it to 12 o'clock, and then I have lunch out for 12 o'clock. So I'm here for Joe. I'm here for Joe. That's my man. You see, I typed these stuff up this morning, and I never use them. I never use them because it's from the heart. Joe is committed. When he said he's going to run, I said, I want to be on your team. And this was long before he even really thought about it. I said, I'll be on your team. Because I seen something in Joe. I seen honesty. I seen commitment. I see dedication. All that's important. Joe has a plan. He's going to map it out. Joe is on fire, and it's going to get hotter. And we're going to be the coolant. Every time he gets a little too hot, we're going to cool him off. Pull him aside. Come on, Joe, you ain't going to deal with that one. Come on, easy, Joe. We know he will win this race, but it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. Pass the word in every community, every ethnic group. We want the best for the city of Erie. The city of Erie is the heart of Erie County. Harbor Creek and Fairview and Wesleyville and Northeast and Mill Creek, those are the veins that run in and out the city. Without the nucleus of our city, they will feel the pinch. And without them collectively, some way we will feel the pinch. So it's very important to have an individual in the mayor's seat that is concerned about Erie first, the outlying region second. We've been talking about regionalization for years, as long as I've been around. But now we have to fix the problems in Erie. And we cannot expect the mayor to fix them the first, the second, or the third year. But we want to see some improvement. And when he hit that second term, how about that, man? When he hit that second term, now we begin to see his plan in order. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, our next mayor, Joe Schember.
Thank you all for being here, and I want to thank especially, I've had a wonderful team that's formed around me, and I especially want to thank the three people that presented today, Sue Moyer, Jim Diamond, and Mel Witherspoon. I got to tell you a story about Mel, because I was in high school when he was playing basketball again, and I was a basketball player in high school. And I went to St. Mark's Seminary, and I loved the game. I spent, every free minute I had, I spent in the gym. We would come down to see Yam games. Then we'd go back to St. Mark's in the gym, and we'd all pretend we were Spoon. So he's been an inspiration to me since I was a teenager. The reason I'm running for mayor is I can't sit back anymore and continue to watch our friends and our relatives leave Erie because they can get a better job or have a better life someplace else. I can't watch our neighbors struggle to invest in their homes while the houses, streets, and the schools crumble around them. I can't watch the evening news anymore and see one more story about our children killing each other with guns. I just can't watch anymore. I have to do something. I can, and I will. Our city is at a crucial turning point. The experts have told us what we already know. We've been losing jobs and population since the late 1960s. As your next mayor, I will work with leaders in this community who want to invest in Erie. But it's not just about building with bricks and mortar. This is about building opportunity for all. The good work has already started. We see it in the recently announced $400 million to be invested over the next few years by businesses and institutions in downtown Erie. We see it in the work done by our community, by our churches, our faith-based groups, and our wonderful nonprofit charities like the Barber National Institute. I see it in the grit and drive of our neighborhood groups. Local government must be just as committed as our businesses, our volunteers, and our neighborhood organizations. That starts with the mayor. I envision a world-class bayfront downtown that are finely connected to the east, west, and south with neighborhoods that are strong, safe, and inviting. I envision a vibrant downtown where people want to live and innovators want to create. I will listen to the experts. I will stick with the plan. I will hold myself accountable for driving results. I envision a revitalized city with more family-sustaining jobs. I will build strong relationships with Erie employers, entrepreneurs, and educators so we can create an environment that encourages even more investment. But no one person or municipality can do everything. Can't get it done alone. Imagine the power and influence we would have in Harrisburg and Washington if we collaborated on determining our priorities and presented a common vision for our region. I envision a prosperous region driven by the city of Erie. I will bring local leaders and elected officials together to lead our region to prosperity. I will collaborate with the superintendent and school board to advocate for fair funding from the state. We must collaborate on common issues like expanding our tax base to reduce the burden on city residents. I envision a city that believes in its leadership. I will be active and visible in the Erie community. I will not just attend events and pass out checks. I will continue my lifelong commitment to serving the people of Erie. Because for me, being mayor isn't about having power and prestige. That's about empowering other people. Let me stop here and tell you a little story. As Jim mentioned, I volunteered in the Getting Ahead program through Erie Together. And I've done it at City Mission. When I first went to City Mission, I was committed to doing it, but I was also very nervous because I knew I'd be dealing with people that are struggling with drug addiction, alcoholism, and criminal records. Those aren't the kind of people I was used to being around. But what I quickly learned in the first session with them, they're no different than me. I've just had some luck and some breaks that they haven't had, the biggest of which was the loving and supportive mother and father I had. They disciplined me when I needed it, but they were always there for me when I needed them also. In getting ahead, I see my role as a mentor in helping people, number one, believe in themselves, and number two, see the opportunities that are there for a better life. I didn't know that going in, but I came to that conclusion when I looked at myself, and I looked at times in my life I failed at something. It was for one of two reasons. I either didn't believe I could do it, or I didn't see all the possibilities. I believe in Erie. I see wonderful opportunities. That's why I want to be your mayor. With your help, your support, with your vote, we will rebuild our neighborhoods. We will welcome new residents to the city. We will welcome residents that have left back to the city. And I hope a couple of those will be my son and daughter, who now live and work in San Francisco and Albany, New York, because they couldn't find a job here. We will build healthy neighborhoods and good schools where our children can thrive. We will build opportunity for all. I believe in Erie. I see all the opportunities. That's why I want to be your mayor. Also, thank you all for being here. I didn't get to talk to all of you beforehand, but I'll stay around here as long as anyone wants to talk to me. I'm here for you. Thanks very much.